The crystalline halls of the Zarthian palace echoed with a silence more deafening than any scream. Empress Velnara sat motionless upon her throne of living coral, her 6 arms folded against her chest in the traditional gesture of mourning. Her bioluminescent skin, usually pulsing with vibrant purples and blues, had faded to a dull gray. 3 cycles had passed since her youngest spawn, Prince Crichton, had succumbed to the Red Plague, a disease that had ravaged the Zarthian homeworld for generations. The humans had arrived in the Andromeda sector only 5 standard years ago, and most species regarded them with a mixture of curiosity and dismissal. They were young, technologically inferior, and possessed none of the natural advantages that made other species formidable. No telepathy, no enhanced strength, no environmental adaptation capabilities. Just soft flesh, fragile bones, and an inexplicable stubbornness. Noah Chen had been stationed on the human embassy vessel Perseverance when he first heard about the prince's death. As a xenobiological researcher, he'd spent the last 2 years studying Zarthian physiology, much to the amusement of the Empire's own scientists. They'd shared their data freely, certain that the primitive human could never decipher the complexities of their advanced biology. They were wrong. "Sir, you can't just request an audience with the Empress, Danny Rodriguez," Noah's research partner and the ship's diplomatic liaison, said as she chased him down the corridor. Her dark eyes flashed with concern. "She's in deep mourning. The Zarthians haven't accepted outside contact since the prince died." Noah didn't slow down. "Then we're lucky I'm terrible at following protocol." Danny grabbed his arm, forcing him to stop. "Noah, what's this about? You've been locked in the lab for 3 days straight." He turned to face her and she saw something in his expression she'd never seen before. Absolute certainty. "I know what killed the prince. More importantly, I know how to stop it." 20 minutes later, they stood before the palace gates, having somehow convinced or perhaps worn down both their commanding officer and the Zarthian gate guards. The Empire's chief physician, a stern female named Tarnex with silver-tipped sensory tendrils, met them in the antechamber. "The Empress will not see you," Tarnex stated flatly, her translator device rendering her chittering speech into flat English. "She sees no one. She speaks to no one. She mourns." "With respect, Doctor," Noah said, pulling out a data tablet. "She'll want to see this. The Red Plague isn't a disease at all. It's an autoimmune disorder triggered by a genetic mutation that appeared in the royal bloodline. Approximately 8 generations ago." Tarnex's tendrils stiffened. "Impossible. We've studied the Red Plague for centuries." "You studied it as an external pathogen," Danny interjected, understanding flooding through her as she read the data over Noah's shoulder. "You were looking for a cure from outside when the problem was internal." Noah nodded enthusiastically. "Exactly. The mutation causes the body to attack its own neural tissue when exposed to specific proteins in the traditional royal diet. It's essentially severe allergic inflammation. In human medicine, we've been treating similar conditions for decades." "Show me," Tarnex demanded, her gray skin flickering with the faintest hint of yellow. Skeptical interest. For the next hour, Noah and Danny presented their findings. The evidence was irrefutable. What the Zarthians had interpreted as disease symptoms were actually the body's own immune system going into overdrive. The Red Plague always struck the royal family because they were the only ones who consumed the ceremonial krell root, a plant loaded with the triggering protein. "This changes everything," Tarnex whispered, her skin now pulsing rapid orange with excitement. "But Prince Crichton is already gone." "This knowledge comes too late." "For him, yes," Noah said quietly. "But your genetic records show that Empress Velnara has 2 other children who carry the same mutation. Without intervention, they'll develop the same symptoms within the next 3 cycles." Tarnex's 6 eyes widened. "Princess Selnora and Prince Vexnim. We can save them," Danny said firmly. "The treatment protocol is straightforward. A combination of immunosuppressants and dietary modifications. It's not complicated, just different from how your medicine approaches these problems." The chief physician stood frozen for a long moment, her skin cycling through colors too rapidly to interpret. Then she spun and rushed deeper into the palace. "Come now, the Empress must know." Empress Velnara looked even more diminished in person than Noah had expected. She seemed to have folded in on herself, a collapsed star of grief. When they entered her private chamber, she barely acknowledged them. "Great Empress," Tarnex began, bowing low, "these humans bring news about the Red Plague. I do not wish to hear it, Velnara said, her voice hollow. Crichton is gone. No knowledge can return him to me. No, Great Empress, Noah said, stepping forward despite Danny's warning grip on his sleeve. We can't bring back Prince Crichton, but we can save Princess Selnora and Prince Vexnim. For the first time, Velnara's eyes focused on him. What did you say? Noah explained everything. The mutation, the trigger, the treatment. He spoke with the passion of someone who'd forgotten to sleep for 3 days, who'd drunk too much coffee and read too many medical journals and refused to accept that an 8-year-old prince had to die from something preventable. When he finished, silence filled the chamber. Then Empress Velnara rose from her throne. Her skin began to pulse, first faintly, then stronger, cycling through blues and purples and finally settling on brilliant gold. Hope, you would share this knowledge freely? She asked. You asked nothing in return? Danny stepped forward. We're humans, Your Majesty. We're pretty bad at watching kids die when we can do something about it. It's kind of our thing. Over the next week, Noah and Danny worked alongside Tarnex and the Imperial medical staff. They treated Princess Selnora and Prince Vexnim, monitored their progress, and trained the Zarthian physicians in the new protocols. The results were undeniable. Both royal children showed immediate improvement. On the 8th day, Empress Velnara summoned Noah and Danny to the throne room. This time the hall was filled with courtiers, all their skin pulsing with various colors of curiosity and excitement. Noah Chen, Danny Rodriguez, the Empress said, her voice ringing with authority. You have returned my children to me. You have saved my bloodline. The Zarthian Empire does not forget such gifts. She descended from her throne and did something unprecedented. She knelt before them, placing her primary hands over her chest. In our culture, there is no higher honor than saving a child's life, she said. You are no longer visitors to our empire. You are Kelnara, family of the heart. The Zarthian Empire stands with humanity now and always. As they left the palace that day, Danny nudged Noah's shoulder. You know you just accidentally made humanity the Zarthians' best friends, right? They control half the Andromeda sector. Noah shrugged, a tired smile on his face. Didn't do it for that. Did it because it was right. I know, Danny said softly. That's the most human thing about you. Behind them, the crystalline palace blazed with color once more, its halls no longer silent with grief but ringing with life. And in the imperial gardens, 2 young Zarthian royals played together, their skin flickering with the innocent joy of childhood, alive, healthy, and saved by the stubbornness of 2 humans who refused to accept that death was inevitable. That, more than anything, was humanity's greatest strength. They saw the impossible and tried anyway. And sometimes, impossibly, they succeeded. The end.